Hello and welcome back to another podcast and video from Fantasy Football Scout on UCL Fantasy Matchday 2. Today I'm going to be making sure you're up to date on who's injured, who's suspended, that sort of thing, and also revealing the moves I'm likely to make before the deadline at 5:45 tomorrow. That's Tuesday, 5:45 BST tomorrow. There's your warning. If you want more of this sort of stuff, then do follow me at _fantasyad. I do a whole bunch of UCL fantasy stuff, including a newsletter, including a short video that I do just on my X, 5-6 minutes, everything you need to know. I'll be posting that after I've done this. So yeah, if you want to find out more as well, you can go to Fantasy Football Scout, fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, where there's loads and loads of articles on UCL Fantasy and also Fantasy Football Community. All those links for all the things I just mentioned will be in the description below. There's a premium tier at Fantasy Football Scout as well that's well worth the money, where you get all sorts of elite data, where you can not just listen to the experts, but be an expert yourself. Anyway, without further ado, let's get cracking. Yeah, it's just a bit more housekeeping before we dive in. Just to reiterate the deal we've got over at Fantasy Football Scout in terms of the membership. Obviously, this graphic's a little bit out of date because it says you can save 40% if you sign up before the Matchday 1 deadline. But that has been extended, I think. So it's still 40% off. And you can get elite, as I said, data from StatsBomb in UCL data and articles, exclusive articles and team reveals from top managers, a hot streak tool, team reveals from top managers, I said that, cash prizes in the league, loads and loads of stuff. So go and check that out. The link will be in the description. The other thing just to point out is a newsletter I've started called the UCL Fantasy Newsletter. Now, this is completely free. You can just put your email in and click sign up, and that's all you have to do. The link will be in the description. Essentially, newsletters are great direct into your inbox that tell you everything you need to know, aren't they? Make sure you sign up to the Scout one. So if you go on fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, you can sign up to that newsletter. And that's really good for FPL particularly. 24 hours before every FPL deadline, you get everything you need into your inbox. So it reminds you, first of all, that the deadline's coming up, so you never miss one. And second of all, you get all who's injured and who's suspended and some team reveals and things like that. So really, really great. Sign up to their Fantasy Football Community one as well. That'll be the link in the description. You can go to their website and sign up. That's really, really good for FPL, also UCL, but also loads of other fantasy games like Serie A and MLS and loads and loads of stuff, right? So that site kind of covers loads of different games in a lot more depth. But if you just play UCL Fantasy and you just want something for that, then I've started this, the UCL Fantasy newsletter. You can go to the website and sign up in, takes probably about 15 seconds. UCLfantasy.beehive.com. Now, Beehive is BEEHIIV.com. The link will be in the description. Do sign up. If you love UCL Fantasy, sign up and you'll get a newsletter 24 hours before each deadline and a couple of others through the week. You can unsubscribe to ones and stuff like that. So, love your support on that. We've got over 100 people signed up in the last couple of days. It'll be great to kind of grow that and make that a helpful thing for you guys as you go. I'll be sharing some stuff about my team on there as well, how I'm doing. It's just a bit of a fun project for me. So please join us if you'd like. Let's crack on. Yeah, so I'm hoping 24 hours before the deadline, this is going to be a helpful video just to remind you of what the lay of the land is as we go into Matchday 2. If you didn't watch my Matchday 2 review on Fantasy Football Scouts YouTube, then just to tell you how I did, I got 110 points. I'm 61k in the world, really pleased. Harry Kane was my captain, like lots of people, in massive haul. Biggest regret was not getting Florian Wirtz. It was between Wirtz and Bellingham for me. And of course, I went Bellingham, we got 2 points. Wirtz got 18. Very annoying. My matchday prediction for Matchday 2, the player who I think is going to go big, but is going under the radar. So obviously, I could say like Lewandowski, but he's not going under the radar. I could say Salah, but he's not going under the radar. The one I think that might do really well is Marcus Thuram for Inter Milan. And that brings me on to actually the fixtures to target this week, okay? So if you're looking at your team thinking, I don't really know what to do, or you feel like you've got some luxury transfers, remember, you can only roll one. So you may as well use one. You don't have to, of course, but otherwise you'd burn it. You can only roll over one. So if you made one transfer this week, we get 2 in between match days. You can roll 1. So if you made only 1 transfer this week, you'd have 3 next week. I'm going to be using 2. I'll talk about in a second. But the fixtures to target, just so you're aware, in my view, there's 4. Inter Milan versus Crvena Zvezda. Now, Inter Milan, as I've said, they are a team that no one was really looking at for their Matchday 1 team because of that Man City fixture in Matchday 1. So not many people, I don't think, have Inter Milan assets. And if you do, then you're in a great position because they've got Crvena Zvezda at home. The players to target there would be, as I've said, Thuram. I think Lautaro Martinez is back fit and scoring. He's got a brace at the weekend. Di Marco at the back, we know what he can do. Everyone saw that goal he scored for Italy the other day. Tonali assisted it with that volley. He's such an attacking left back. So he's an option. Other fixtures, Dortmund versus Celtic. Dortmund at home against the Celtic team who did really well in Matchday 1, but we know historically, I mean, when they go away in the Champions League, particularly against top clubs like Dortmund, they don't do too well. So the players to target for Dortmund, I think, is Guirassy, the striker, who seems to have bedded in now into their system. Emre Can, who got 10 points in match day 1. He seems to be on penalties, and he's a defender in the game. I mean, come on, for 5 million, you can't do much better. Schlotterbeck and Adeyemi. Adeyemi started the season really well at Dortmund. Barcelona versus Young Boys is the obvious one for that first day of the match day for captaincy. And you've got Yamal, you've got Lewandowski, you've got Rafinha, you've got Peña. Now, Peña I'll come back onto because he's one of the potential bargains for this game week. I'll come on to him in a minute. And then Liverpool versus Bologna is the other one. This is the obvious game for captaincy on the Wednesday, the second day. So remember, there's only 2 days this match day. Last time there was 3, this time there's 2 to kind of try and get a captaincy. Didn't need it last week, did we, with Kane? But hey-ho. So Salah, Diaz. You know, Diaz wouldn't normally be in here, but he started the season so well. Maybe he's one to target. And then Trent. I've already got Trent, but Salah, Diaz, Trent, these are the sorts of players that captaining any of them, even Trent, wouldn't be a bad option for the second day of the match day if you needed it. Let's all hope we get another monster haul from our captains in day 1, though, whoever that's going to be. Now, in terms of players missing, so any of these players, I'm just going to name the big ones. Of course, there'll be loads of players in different teams that might be missing, but the big players I've come across, and please comment below if there's any other news that comes out. Rodri, obviously out for the season, so if you've got him, get rid. Mbappe is going to miss this, it sounds like. He's going to miss this match day. Sounds like, though, he will probably be back for the match day 3. So whether you want to keep him if you've got him and just realise he's not going to play and keep him for match day 3, or you want to transfer him out. But so you're aware, Mbappe is probably going to miss match day 2. Goncalves is probably going to miss match day 2. Now, as you can see, my team, if you're watching on YouTube, has Goncalves in currently. So there's a problem I need to sort with one of my two free transfers. Ter Stegen, the Barcelona keeper. Again, this is going to feed into the Peña argument in a minute, but we'll come back onto that. But Ter Stegen's out for the season. Looks like a really horrible injury. Dembele, disciplinary reasons I've just read, is not in the squad for PSG if you've got him. I think a few people actually had him. So Dembele, make sure you realise he's not going to play match day 2. He's not even in the squad, so he's not even on the bench, I don't think. And then, who's the other one? Let's have a look. It is Courtois. Courtois is injured for Real Madrid. Now, I don't think many people have him. He's quite an expensive option at goalkeeper. But if you do, Courtois is injured. Does that affect Real Madrid defensive assets? I don't know. I've got further Mendy, as you can see. But who knows? So those are the players that are missing. Now, captaincy options. I mean, for me, it's... and I'll talk about the transfers I'm going to make in a minute. But I'm going to stick to what I'd planned before even my match day 1 team for match day 2. I left 2.5 million in the bank to do the very moves I'm going to do. But I'm going to end up captaining Lewandowski on the Tuesday. I'm still pretty set on that. And then definitely Salah on the Wednesday. And I've got the money to make those changes. I'll talk about who's coming out and who's coming in that in a second. Now, in terms of, let's go into the bargains, because the matchday bargains, let's start with Peña that I've mentioned twice now. So essentially, Ter Stegen is out for Barcelona. They've made an emergency signing of YWXWWR, the ex-Juventus keeper, ex-Arsenal, top keeper who retired. It was kind of a surprise he retired this summer, I think. I don't think people were expecting that, but he did. But he's just come out of retirement for Barcelona as an emergency, and they've signed him on a 1-year deal, I think, or something like that. Clearly to cover as backup because Ter Stegen's out for the season. But the narrative suggests, and everyone online and all the Barcelona fans suggest, that Peña is going to come in and be the Barcelona starting goalkeeper now, and he's 4.5 million. There, get to the actual point. Barcelona starting goalkeeper, 4.5 million Klaxon, if there's such a thing. So, look, I wouldn't rip up your team to get him in, by no means. I wouldn't even take a hit to get him in, there's no point. But if you're on a wild card in the next couple of game weeks, he'd definitely be an option. I doubt many people will be on a wild card this game week, but maybe you are. So Peña, there you go, get him in. But also, I think secondly, I'd say if you are someone who's just, you look at your team and you don't know what to change, you've got nothing to change, and you've got an extra transfer that you're going to burn, then, okay, maybe bring in Peña in goal. Why not? He's going to be a better option than the other 4.5 million goalkeepers. So there, potential bargain. Other potential bargains this week, I think, Morgan Rogers, I mean, you can see I've got the other 5 million Villa midfielder here, Jacob Ramsey, but Morgan Rogers has started actually doing stuff rather than looking good. He got 2 assists followed by a goal for Villa in the Premier League. So maybe Morgan Rogers at 5 million starts falling into this bargain category. Retegui, or however you pronounce it, Atalanta's striker, who started the season really well, super cheap on this game, 5.5 million. When you consider other kind of options that I'd feel are similar, like Undav is 7 million, $1.5 million more. These strikers down at that end. So Retegui, I think, is a really good option. I think he was rested as well the weekend for Atalanta for this game. So Retegui is a really good option. Bargain territory. Ademola Lookman for the same team, 6.5 million could be a bargain. Elise, 6.5 million, started really well, could be a bargain. Rico Lewis, 4.5 million, could be a bargain. Now, the thing about Rico Lewis and the caveat I always say about Man City is I hate picking Man City players in this game other than Haaland, because you never know what Pep's going to do. I never trust him. I've had too much frustration in the past. I just stick to Haaland and sometimes De Bruyne when it gets into the latter stages of the competition, and you know if he's fit, he's going to play. But defenders, oh crikey, absolute minefield. What else to say? Yeah, so I think, look, the transfers I'm going to make, let's talk about that. So I kind of mentioned this in both my preview of the whole tournament before Matchday 1 and my Matchday 2 preview that I did a couple of days ago. I think I'm going to stick to the plan, which is this. I'll do it on the screen if you're watching. So what's going to happen is Harry Kane is going to come out for me. Now, this has been the issue, right? And Lewandowski will come in 9.5 million. So I had 2.5 million in the bank. For those listening on podcast, Harry Kane's come out, who was obviously 10.5. Lewandowski comes in for 9.5, gives me that option of captaincy on the first day, takes me to 2 Barcelona, and leaves me with 3.5 million in the bank to take out the injured Goncalves and bring in, this is all very neat this week, it's very pleasing, bring in Mo Salah. Right, there you go, for captaincy on the second day. So for that second day, the Liverpool game, I'll have Trent and Salah, happy with that. For the first day, the Barcelona game, I'll have Yamal and Lewandowski, happy with that, right? I could even captain Yamal on the first day, but anyway, Lewandowski comes in. Now, that was always my plan for Matchday 2. That's why I left the money in the bank. That was always my plan, right? And it kind of worked in the sense that it meant I had Kane in Matchday 1, who did amazingly, and it meant I had Goncalves in the Matchday 1, who got an assist and got 7 points, where Salah blanked, right? So it's worked. This plan has worked. The only spanner in the works is I'm getting rid of Harry Kane, who started the season absolutely explosively and scored 4 goals in the last game. We must keep in mind that 3 of them were penalties. And we must keep in mind that Villa away is going to be a very tricky fixture for Bayern. So that's why I'm just going to have to stick to my guns, because there's no other way really. I mean, there are, but there's no way that I want to go that can end up with me still having Salah. Because the options I've considered, like if you keep Kane, right? Goncalves needs to come out really because he's injured. I don't want to keep him if he's injured. And to be honest, longer term, I don't want 2 Sporting. So going down to 1 Sporting makes sense anyway. I think I was planning on bringing Goncalves out anyway this match day, and now he's injured. So look, he's an essential piece of this. That's a lock. He's coming out. To get Salah though, so if I put Salah in for him, it gives me -1 million, right? So I suppose I could do that and then maybe go Bellingham. I could take Bellingham out, but I don't really want to do that because Mbappe's injured. I think Bellingham is going to be back in that position he played last season, which is quite attacking, in the middle of the split forwards, in the middle, and he runs through and, essentially kind of a shadow striker almost. So I want to keep Bellingham and I want to see how that goes, because not that many people have Bellingham, I don't think. In fact, what's his ownership? His ownership's, 25%. It's quite high, but it's not as high as, last season's Bellingham. Now, selling Kane is obviously is the option to get to Lewandowski, right? It's the perfect option. The only other options, though, to get Lewandowski, if I want him, is taking out Haaland. Because Gary Karish won't give me enough money. That'll give me 6.5 left. I don't want to do that. So it would be taking out Haaland. Now, the thing about taking out Haaland is there is a logic to it, because is Haaland even going to start away against Bratislava? I mean, he's got to be rested at some point this season. And is it going to be away or even at home against these Champions League teams that you just expect them to absolutely trounce? But Man City are absolutely huge favourites for that game. So is that the game Pep rotates? They've just had a tough game at St James's Park. They've dropped a few points in the league. They're now not favourites for the first time for the league. Arsenal are, according to the bookies, after the Rodri injury. Is this the game he gets benched? So say I took that risk and took out Haaland, I could, of course, then go... let's make sure I don't hit confirm on this. Lewandowski, and then I've got 0.5 in the bank, and I've got Lewandowski and Salah, the 2 captains I want, but I don't have any Man City players. So it's either the 2 options I've got really. Obviously, there'll be other combinations. You're screaming at the screen saying, "Oh, you could do this," and yeah, but I've considered all them. I don't want them, right? So it's either I go with no Kane. Well, in fact, it's very simple. I either go with no Kane or I go with no Haaland. And no Kane means no Bayern at all for me, and no Haaland means no Man City at all for me. So who do I back to, well, I guess A, start, and B, score in match day 2, and I'm not really thinking further ahead than that. I mean, Kane in match day 3 has a couple of more things to say on Kane. Match day 3, he's got Barcelona away, so it doesn't get easier for him in match day 3, right? And he actually came off injured, by the way. I don't want to scare you, but he came off injured in his last game for Bayern. And there's intensive tests apparently going on his ankle or whatever it was. So there's a chance he doesn't start, which is why that was the final thing I saw yesterday that made me go, okay, right, stick with the plan. Get rid of Kane. So I'm not going to do that. So look, Haaland's staying in. Even if Haaland gets rested, this is the thing. Even if Haaland gets rested, he can come off the bench and score. We know what he can do. Second thing to say is he's on the first day. So if he doesn't play, then I can sub him out. And the third thing to say is even if he's rested there, he'll probably, he'll play against Sporting. He'll play against Feyenoord. He'll probably play against Sparta Prague at home. He's not going to get rested for all of them. So yeah, I think, look, Kane out, Goncalves out, Salah and Lower in. I'm not going to do it yet. I always wait, by the way, top tip, until we see the teams, until it's the hour before the deadline, just in case it suddenly comes out, Salah's broken his leg or Lewandowski's being rested or whatever. So do it at the last second. Unlike FPL, this app doesn't really crash very much. I bet I've jinxed it now, but there you go. So look, that's what I'm planning to do. I just hit the mic there. I'm so excited. That's what I'm planning to do. I'm hoping for a really good match day 2. Good luck to you as well. I'm hoping to get a green arrow from 61k. If I can get to 30k by match day 2, I'll be very, very pleased. But yeah, to reiterate, if you want to get involved with getting more elite data, go to fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and please do sign up to my free newsletter. The first one's going to go out today. The description's below, but once you've signed up to that, you don't have to do anything. It will directly come into your inbox for free, 24 hours before every deadline, and maybe a couple of other ones, like a preview of the week a bit earlier and a review of the week, depending on how free I am to do that. Thank you very much for watching, and good luck. That's a short video, but just my team reveal, just the essential news you need. There you go. Good luck. Thanks for watching.